That must bow, and let's start off with the Ghana Football Association, where the Executive Council of the association, in the exercise of its powers under the GFA regulations, have now scheduled a fixed Thursday, July 6, 2023, for the 29th ordinary session of Congress. Now, the 29th session of Congress shall be held at 9 o'clock in the forenoon at the Great Hall of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And we understand among other issues that will be deliberated will be the football season, which will be coming to a close on June 10. And we also understand that this is in compliance with Article 31, Clause 3 of the Ghana's GFA statutes, which states that the formal convocation of Congress shall be made in writing and circulated to the members of GFA at least 7 days before the stipulated date of the meeting of Congress. And we understand also that this convocation shall contain the agenda, the activity report, the financial statement, and the auditor's report, and any other relevant document there. So I'm sure all football followers will keep keen eyes on that. And on Tuesday, Black Stars head coach did name Ghana's squad to face for next month's African Cup of Nations qualifier against Madagascar. And the Black was in the eastern region of Ghana together with his foundation as they made a donation to some schools in Asamankese. My colleague Lawrence Bedu was there and he came through with this report.
The donation in Asamankese is one of two projects the player is in Ghana for as part of works with his Tariq Lamte Foundation. Before the donation was a ceremonial game between two Division 3 clubs in the community, with Young Kotoko Football Club playing host to Nanakwadi FC at the Asamankese Methodist Park. Achu Prince scored the only goal of the fixture in the first half of the game to win it for Young Kotoko, going ahead to win the best player of the fixture. Speaking about receiving support from Tariq, the youngster said the initiative will always be a good opportunity for young talented people in deprived areas.
We wasn't expecting something like this, so we thank God. Sometimes with we here, like we find it difficult. Getting the chance is a big problem. So if Tariq come here and she give us this opportunity, we thank God. We thank him too.
As the brain behind the charity foundation, the Brighton Star lauded the talent on display and asked the youngsters in the community to continue their efforts to succeed.
Keep working hard and enjoying playing football. Keep working hard in school and keep working hard in football and put everything into prayer. Yeah, I thank God for the position that I'm in, and I feel like it's important to help the kids because everybody deserves a chance. And I think, as you can see today, there was some fantastic talent on show. So yeah.
Among the items donated were football equipment, as well as Brighton's home and away kits to two schools in the town. Freedom Methodist School and Wesley Methodist School were recipients of the goodies, while Nanakwadi FC and Young Kotoko were also given prizes. The best player of the game, Achu Prince, also won a signed boot from the Black Stars right back. Tariq Lamte embarked on the same project in Abelemkpe Basic 2 School on Wednesday.
Let's do some boxing now, and Ghana's amateur boxing team, the Black Bombers, face a major challenge as they prepare for various competitions leading to eventual Olympic qualification. The team has only 9 days to participate in the African Boxing Championship in Cameroon, but yet to have a properly monitored residential campaign. Boxing won Ghana's only medal at the last Olympic event in Tokyo after Samuel Techi's exploit. Well, the time as the team races against time with all the disadvantages of non-residential training, female welterweight boxer Farouza Osman is making a passionate appeal to government to come to the team's rescue.
I believe in proper preparation prevents poor performance. When you prepare properly, there's no way you're going to perform badly. Even if you are not able to win a medal, the performance would be bad. As I said earlier on, the support is not there. The government, non-governmental organization must invest in boxing to bring us up, to support us. We are preparing, but we need more support. in terms of, let's say, campaign, in terms of using vitamins for training to boost our immune systems and stuff. We are preparing, we are doing our best, and inshallah, we are going to win the ultimate prize. But back to the minister, Mr. Yusuf, the president, the vice president. The first lady, she's into football. So we are appealing to the second lady to come into boxing. Okay. As she's supporting female footballers. So the second lady should also come and support the female boxers. There are a lot of female outside who wants to box, but the support is not there. So when they come and invest into us, I think there are going to be a lot of boxers in Ghana, female boxers.
Great. Well, the full interview or feature on that very, very unfortunate incident will air tomorrow. So make a date as we make campaign for the Black Bombers to be put into a residential camping ahead of that all-important national assignment. But we now have the Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association, Harry Asantuchum. And Harry, thank you very much for making time to speak to us on Prime Sports. Harry, just a bit on the squad that the Black Stars head coach has released. Of course, we know someone like Jordan Ayew has had a relatively impressive performance in the latter part of the season. I mean, overall, what has been the FA's assessment of the players that have been called to help Ghana in that crucial game against Madagascar?
Thanks for having me. I think when the coach was unveiled, Sports in Europe, who has come into the team, he started monitoring Ernest Nuama about 3 months ago. He was on the radar before the Angola game. But in a meeting with Ibrahim Tanko said he wanted the team to qualify for the U23 AFCON. So they both agreed that he comes to play for the U23, get more playing time. Provisional squad he released, I can speak on authority that he had some of the players in the local league in that I would entreat them to do.
Henry, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. And happy birthday to your boss too. And we wish him well there. Well, let's talk about the National Youth Authority now, because they have provided partial information to Joy Sports on funds received by the authority from the District Assembly's Common Fund since 2020, and how much of that has been invested in each of the multi-purpose youth resource centers. Joy Sports Muftah Nabila made the request via the Right to Information Law with some very specific questions. And he joins me on the line. Muftah, I'm pretty sure you're on the line, but just taking a look at, and of course this is a sequel to our Bush Resource Centers documentary that we did show on the Joy News channel, and we've been following up on that very closely. Muftah, if you're on the line, of course, we know that you asked, one of the questions you asked is, you wanted a detailed breakdown of how much has been received by the National Youth Authority from the District Assembly Common Fund since 2020. What did they respond?
Okay, so, Musbah, just as you read, that was exactly the question. In fact, there were 3 questions that I submitted to the National Youth Authority, and I made the request on March 8th, and back and forth with them, where I had to submit my ID, go there and submit the request in person, and all that. I finally got a feedback from them on April 5, and it contained the details that I requested for. But one critical question that I asked was the third question: how much has been invested in each of the facilities? And that has been, that appears to have been a big issue for the National Youth Authority, because they've not been able to provide that information. And several times I've followed up, asking questions. The last time they actually responded to my email was on April 26th, when they told me that the finance director was on leave and was going to be back to the office soon, and when he returns, I was going to get the information I asked for. In fact, just a couple of days ago, I followed up again with another email. So I've sent so many emails to them, and since then they've not responded to my request. And it would interest you to know that since 2020, work on many of the National Youth Resource Centers, work had been abandoned. And as you recall, and in fact, if you read the story that has been published on my Joy Online, I did indicate that during some of our follow-ups, sources had indicated to us that there was no funds, whilst others had told us that the then acting chief executive officer could not spend more than 100,000 Ghana cedis because there was no board, and he needed board approval before he could spend. And others also told that there was no money. But it interests you to know that around the time they claimed there was no money, they actually received 29,218,387 Ghana cedis from the District Assembly's Common Fund, and about 24,342,358 was spent on the youth resource centers. Interestingly, when I asked them to give me a breakup of how this 24 million was spent on the 10 youth resource centers, they never responded to that. Then came to 2021, where they agreed to give me the figures in bulk. So they told me that they got about 40,847,248 Ghana cedis from the District Assembly's Common Fund, and 12,904,993 was spent on the youth resource centers. Then again, I asked the question, so how much of this amount of money went into, say, the Azuma-Nelson Youth Resource Center, went into, say, the Nyinahene Youth Resource Center, the Yendi Youth Resource Center, the Koforidua Youth Resource Center, the Azim Youth Resource Center? Again, the National Youth Authority did not respond to that. And since then, I've had back and forth with them. So in total, they say they've spent about 83 million Ghana cedis on the National Youth Resource Centers. And in fact, even 2023, the first quarter of 2023, the District Assembly's Common Fund released to them 14,267,723.05 Ghana cedis. That's the information they gave to me. So when I asked them how much of that, again, has been spent on the facilities, there they go again. They are mute, very reluctant to provide the information. So I've been struggling to appreciate why they are willing to provide the information in bulk, but when it comes to giving us a breakup of how much of that money has been spent on each facility, it's been quite difficult to get from them. And if you have to tell me that about 70% of the money you get from the District Assembly's Common Fund goes into the youth resource centers, and about 30% of the remaining money goes into youth leadership skills, regional and district directions, national office complex, construction of asset parks at Cuba and Mampoten, and you're not able to give me a breakdown of that, the money. It's been quite difficult to appreciate.
Mufta, so just to wrap up, so substantially, from the information you gathered from them, some 80 million cedis have been spent on the multi-purpose youth resource centers, right?
83 million Ghana cedis.
83 million Ghana cedis. However, they are unable to provide information relative to how much of that was spent on each of the 10 resource centers. Exactly
where their challenge has been. And in fact, I've had a privilege of speaking to some people, and sometimes the information, if what they tell us is anything to go by, the information is available. So if the information is available, why are they reluctant? So what I have done, I'm doing this on behalf of the Joy Sports team, it's now helped to write to the right to information so that they can push the National Youth Authority to make that information available. And that is exactly the next line of action we are going to take. Because if after 2 months of chasing up for them to answer just one question, and they were reluctant to do so, I think that the superiors will be able to get the information for us, and that's exactly what we are going to do next.
Mufta, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it, and of course, we'll keep our tabs on that very closely. And that's all I have for you on Prime Sports tonight. With me, Razak Musbao. There's more on myjoyonline.com/sports. Do have a lovely evening.